Hey everybody, there's my camera. Welcome to a special live stream.
Mhm.
Both Matt and I were not home during the day when the trade was announced. So Montreal Canadiens have traded Jeff Petry and surprise to the Detroit Red Wings. You know what? As far as Matt and I were just talking about this, as far as the organization being classy and treating the players well, here's case in point where Jeff Petry wasn't expecting to be picked up by the Montreal Canadiens again, and yet and asked for a trade, and Montreal could have been like nasty about it, but no, they sent him back home. He's from Detroit, and Hughes talked about it in a press conference, and it goes well for the future for players thinking of coming to Montreal. They will know that they're going to be treated with respect and be treated well. So it's a really good
Mhm.
thing. So the news today is that Jeff Petry was moved to the Detroit Red Wings, and in exchange, Montreal picks up a young defenseman, 24 years old. His name is Gustav Lindstrom, not Lidstrom like the great Nick Lidstrom, Lindstrom. He's a young Swedish defenseman. He's got good size. He's 6'2", 185 pounds. He's a right shot defenseman. So Petry was a right side guy. So we still have that, we don't have depth there on the right side. This increases that depth. What else do I know about it? He was drafted in 2017 by Detroit, 38th overall. And from what I've read, a stretch by Detroit at 38th overall in 2017. Doesn't mean it was a bad stretch, but back then, not expected to go anywhere near that. And so they picked him up there. They must have seen something in him, right? What else do I know about him? Depending on where you read, he's a stay-at-home defenseman. I read classic stay-at-home defenseman, and then just watching Kent Hughes' press conference, called him a puck-moving defenseman. So he's probably somewhere in between, right? Something like that. Let's see what else. We'll get to you in a sec, Matt. Sorry, just want to go over the stuff that I know.
No, that's cool.
He doesn't hurt you on defense. So apparently you might not notice him out there a lot, but it's a good thing. He's solid and steady and doesn't hurt you. And there's nothing wrong with that. And playing on, he's good at 5-on-5 play as well. And he plays the PK. Let's see.
Sounds like Joel Edmondson, really, except way less cap hit and younger.
Way less cap hit. And I think you're kind of right, because he's a shutdown kind of guy. I mean, he's along the lines of Edmondson. I'm not going to say he's as good as Edmondson,
right?
But yeah, I think you're right. He's along that line. He's got good size, and the Habs did retain 50%, by the way, on the Petry contract. So Montreal's holding on to $2.34 million. They felt it was worth it to move Mike Hoffman out and to give Rem Pitlick his wish to be moved, and no retention on Hoffman. And they got back two good draft picks, a goalie, this defenseman here, and what else? There's something else. What's the other piece that I'm missing?
Leger, I think it's the kid's name.
And the guy playing Laval, yeah, Nathan Legary. So there you go. So that not a bad deal when you consider what he's done in moving Hoffman out with no retention, getting all these assets back. Right? I mean, our GM is a magician. Matt,
no, seriously, like,
what do you think?
The fact that he turned those two guys into what we got, even though maybe you'll say it's not, it's nothing, to kind of blow your socks off, but it's still, I mean, we got draft capital, which is now we got a shitload of picks next year and the year after. Again, I don't know really a lot about Laguerre, but now we also have
I wouldn't put much stock in him playing here, but yeah.
We got this Lindstrom, who age-wise fits the bill, helps the depth on the right side, and Casey DeSmith is goalie insurance.
Yeah, Casey DeSmith,
and we freed up some cap space. I mean, we're still over the cap, but it's
some interesting things he said about Casey DeSmith since you mentioned the name, and I don't want to forget. He apparently told Casey DeSmith on the phone they weren't going to bury him in Laval. So he's not going to the AHL. He will be playing in the NHL. Didn't say that necessarily it's Montreal, but they're either going to move him or he's playing here. It doesn't actually, the only what's the word I'm looking for? The new part of all this is that he won't be going to Laval, apparently. So I don't know if it means that they're going to move him, but they're apparently working on trying to do that potentially. I wrote something here about it. I just want to get, what did I write? It sounds like Habs will try to trade the Smith, from what Hughes is saying, but doesn't mean that they necessarily will. Sorry, I just didn't want to forget that.
I mean, they could try to move Allen. I don't see why they would, but I mean, it would free up cap space. Like that's because because he also did say in that press conference he expects to be able to put Carey Price on LTIR when the season starts. He doesn't expect to have to put him on.
Oh, as a matter of fact,
so we got to make up about three and change of cap space. Right.
But listen, wait, a little bit more than that, then you'll go on. He says that the Habs have everything in place to be under the cap right now. They don't have to do any other moves. They've got things he can't talk about right at the moment that'll get them. They're a little over $3 million over. So they don't have to do anything else. So they could keep the Smith. Or they're not going to carry 3 goalies. Sorry, go ahead.
No, they're not. No, but see, I just know that that he had kind of went along the lines of we should be able to put Price on LTIR when the season starts and get the full relief. So I'm thinking, all right, well, we're still going to make up $3 and change million. How do we do that? And obviously, like you just said, I guess there are ways. I guess
he just can't talk about it right now, whatever's in the works, but everything is set. That they don't have to be searching for deals. In other words, there may be a move still happening. I shouldn't have said there's no more moves, but he's not searching for that move. Apparently, as of that press conference, they're going to be fine to have Carey Price on LTIR only after the season starts. So I mean that's good. And he did say though, Carey Price's full contract, not easy to use up in during the season, but you never know when the deal comes up, right? So,
I mean, not only that, but just injury wise, like it's just, I mean, it's one thing to have a couple million in cushion, but to have a full $10.5 million in cushion, that's if like total disaster, right? That's if everything hits the fit. But again,
it would have to be. It would have to be. But the thing is also, right, there's a lot of time left till the start of the season. Yeah. He did mention that, listen, if a deal comes up and that's got to put us to the point where we need to put Carey Price on LTI, he doesn't use the R, on LTI in the off season, they are perfectly willing to do that. It's not a problem for them. Mm-hmm. So something could still happen that they're not expecting as of today. But at least they're ready. They're ready for the season. It's not going to be a last minute. Oh, we got to just send this guy somewhere. They're ready. They're up on it with a little less than 2 months to go till the start of the season. That's good to know. We haven't done this and we've been on for a few minutes. Let's say hi to people that are here.
Yeah, Renegade Man, how we doing? Stan,
got to do that. So we'll start from the top. Hey Tuco, thumbs up. Hey Bruce, how's it going? Feel we didn't get enough for Petry. I am not happy. Okay, I'm going to say this on this. Now, when it happened, Matt's the one who told me about it. I was just uploading the video I put out today. And I said to him too, less than exciting. Here's the thing to think about. I personally have total confidence in my GM and and Gordon as well. If they made this move, it might not seem exciting to me because I don't know who this Lindstrom guy is before, but it doesn't mean that it's not going to end up being something good, and we may discover that, hey, this is actually a really good move. You have to take into account we got rid of Hoffman off of the roster. Yeah, Pitlick wanted out because he was too far down on the depth chart, and in return he got 5 pieces. 5 pieces. He did not hurt
the second round draft pick, for Christ's sake.
Right. He did not hurt this team. He made it better. He acquired draft capital. It may not on the surface seem like the most exciting deal, but you know what? I'm 100% expecting it to turn out to be like, I'm really glad he made this deal, or I really like this player. You know what I mean? I just don't know anything about him yet. That's all.
Well, no, and like we touched on too, just also the fact that he did right by Jeff Petry right away. You know, just again, just showing how class he is as a GM and how class the organization is as well.
And Rem Pitlick. Rem Pitlick wanted out because not that he didn't like Montreal, just he saw that there's no room for him to, you know, he's probably going to stay in the AHL. So he wanted a chance with another organization. And the Habs gave that to him. You know, it worked out well for them too. But, you know, that's the kind of, you know, Montreal's always been known as a class organization, except for some periods of time with certain GMs. Other than that, you know, I'm not shocked at all that. All right, let's get back here. Hey, Joe down under. In total was not bad. If looking at the Petry deal alone, not that good. I think it's one of these deals where we got to give it a little time. Let's see how he plays. Let's see him in camp and stuff like that. But, you know, like I said, I was less than exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, with where Petry's at in age, and like I said, this was more so a trade to, again, do right by him. So I don't think, you know, Hughes was probably shooting for anything like extravagant.
Well, no, what he said actually about that was that he had told Jeff that they wouldn't wait to maximize to the last drop every bit of value they could get out of the deal. They'd find a deal, do it as quickly as possible, and send him somewhere where he wants to go. And that's what they did. Yeah. Right? So if you're a little underwhelmed by it, you have to take that into account too. He could have taken longer to work out a better deal, but this was part of them being, you know, and it's an investment in the future of players coming to Montreal. They see this kind of stuff and they're less likely to say no to Montreal, right? For other reasons, right? They know they'll get treated well here.
But I mean, absolutely. And like I said, I think if you look at everything together, the Pens trade and this trade, I think overall, I think we have gotten better. I think we're in a better position than we were before those trades were made.
More options and overall a better team.
And we're deeper on the right side now, right? I mean, again, addressing a very important need with a guy who, you know, his age fits the bill, and you know he could show us something that we never thought we could see. You know, it's just
right.
Again, I think it's another one of those kind of maybe not so much on the level of New Hook and Dak because we kind of knew where their potential was at.
Yeah,
but again, another one of just those. You know, he's at that age where maybe we can bring him in. Marty can work with them and maybe get more out of him, and maybe he could become a serviceable defenseman.
The scouts believe he's not fully developed, and he's about 70. They estimate 70% reached his potential. So he's got about, you know, that's a good bit of potential still to go. That yes, like you said, the coaches, and you know, they could bring this out of him, and if he can hit his full potential. It's not the highest ceiling, but it's still, if he can hit his full potential, that's a good deal right there, right? And he's a good defenseman too. He stops plays. He's good on the defensive side. So I think overall, I'm happy with it. Like I said, though, a little underwhelmed because of the name. It's not, you know, I thought it would be something bigger. I guess that's it. But that's my expectation, and that's on me. That's how I look at it. All right. Stan the man. Hey, Stan. I think it was a good trade. I can't believe the players the Habs got for both of the Petry trades. Kent Hughes is a genius. He's a magician. That's what I say. Listen,
no, I mean, I don't think there's been a trade he's made where I've gone, oh, the Canadiens got the shit end of this. Or, you know, the Canadiens didn't really come out looking good. You know what I mean? Like every trade he's made, I think.
Yes, trade-wise. You know the one thing, and I mentioned it in my video today, the one deal that was not the best, kind of looks like a not great deal after signing it, was the what's his name now? Jake Allen, the 2-year. You know what? In the end, not the best deal. Not going to hurt you too much, but really not the best because of
right. But if we're saying that the worst thing he's done is overpay Jake Allen by like $1 million.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's not, like, but that's like his worst deal, right? I think.
Yeah. I mean, look at. I mean, again, the trade for Kirby Dach. I mean, the trade for Alex Newhook. Those two kids hit their potential. I mean,
Well, Kirby Dach's a future core 4 of this team.
I think Newhook could be there too.
Not core 4, but if you core 8, but core 4, I think Kirby Dach's a future core 4.
I think so. I think Newhook could be right there too.
As a matter of
fact,
fact,
that's why we brought in Alex Newhook.
As a matter of fact, to promote a future video, I haven't started work on it, but I'm going to do this. It's Habs current and future core 4. I saw an article and it kind of kicked me. This is a good idea. So to predict who they are right now and who they will be in the next 2-3 years. So, just to look for that. Got to promote myself a little bit. All right. Next up, where are we? We shouldn't be expecting too much. By the way, Renegade Man too much from a 35-year-old defenseman. A fourth and a young prospect is good enough. I mean, I guess that's a fair point. But when you consider what Detroit was getting him at, the $2.34 million, I mean, to get Jeff Petry even at 35, as a guy who put up 31 points in 68 games last season, and he's going to be home now, probably play a little harder and whatever. That's a great deal, for that. So. Mm-hmm. I got to think that Lindstrom's going to be better than we're thinking, to make this deal. I don't know. I'm still a little underwhelmed. I'll just say that.
No, I get it. I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess I am a little bit like, again, I'm more so just happy with the fact that, we did right by him and he's happy and we're able to make the trade happen. And, look, maybe he does. This Lindstrom kid turns out to be pretty good, but again, I think for me, I just look at both those trades together and I don't see any issue with how he did it all.
No, I don't have an issue with it. Like I said, just a little underwhelmed on the name, but I mean, that's nothing. Get over that pretty quickly. Jason. Hey, Jason, they weren't going to get what people thought. It cleared roster spots for younger guys. It's another point. He accomplished a lot of things with this deal. And that came out of nowhere, right? They couldn't get it done, San Jose and Pittsburgh, because Petry did not want to go to San Jose. So that was the big problem. Montreal stepped in. Apparently, Hughes inquired just to check because he thought they were not on Petry's list, and it turns out they were, and they made a deal, and that deal out of nowhere and brought us 5 good pieces to either move and use or they'll stay here. I just think it's a really good out of nowhere. I mean, this deal came up kind of. I'm going to try to go through some of these questions. If people expected Habs to get a first for Petry, would be disappointed. I kind of did, so maybe that's why I'm a little.
I was thinking maybe a second. I didn't think we were going to get anything as high as a first.
Well, which is what we got because he was a second-round pick. So second and we got a second and a fourth. You know what? Not bad.
We essentially got 2 seconds, a fourth, a prospect, and goalie insurance for Rem Pitlick and Mike Hoffman.
And that's true because just because we traded Petry, but we got him from that deal, and now we turned that into more. Yeah, for Hoffman.
That's what I mean. I look at both of those together. That's why I guess I'm not under because I'm looking and I'm going, holy crap! We just got 5 pieces for
Hoffman.
Mike Hoffman and friggin' Rem Pitlick.
Somebody they couldn't trade at last deadline. He had no value, and then they didn't even have to retain salary on Hoffman. To me, that's like it blows my mind. And they got all this back. So yeah, I mean, this is just it's been great. But at least, I'm kind of glad the Petry thing is done as far as is he playing here? Is he not? Doing videos trying to figure out those kind of things. It's not easy. So, and by the way, the Habs 2 weeks in, is it 2 weeks in a row, 9 days in a row, or 9 days, twice in 9 days? That's the way it's said. They screwed me because they did this trade while I was going out. And then today I put up a video. As I'm uploading, the trade comes out, so it takes all the wind out of the sails for the video.
Yeah, every time. That's why I asked you that after I sent it to you. I go, "Are you out?"
Yeah, but thank God I didn't have Petry in that video. I didn't have Petry in the video because that would have really screwed it up. But and I was uploading it when this trade was announced. So, okay, I'm going to scroll just a little bit, get down here because I'm falling behind. Hey, Filibuster, how you doing, man? back from watching Zorro the Gay Blade. Is that the one? Holy moly. Hey, holy moly. Kent Hughes did him a favor for his family. Kids needed to be situated. Well, they were about to enter school. So, I mean, he did a big thing for him. Jim said he would facilitate a trade back to the USA. Yeah, no, we know that he did all that.
Okay. I called it too as soon as we got him from the Penguins in the group chat with Cam and Alex.
Yeah.
I said,
Yeah,
hey, watch, give it a week or two. They're gonna flip him.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, but I mean, that was everyone was saying that, and the reason that there was no press conference to introduce him back to Montreal, I mean that said a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, Billy Bishop, aging right-hand defenseman in Petry, and Habs got younger again with a right-hand Lindstrom. Thought he was going to the Swiss League, but he signed a 1 year, $950,000 AAV with the Wings. Yep, and under $1 million. So. No, I was going to use a different example. Sorry. No, it's a good deal. Listen, it's a good deal. They retained $2.34 million, right? So if you add his $950, so it's $3.5 million for a defenseman who probably is going to play in your second pairing. It's not a bad thing, It's not a bad deal overall when you think about it, I think. And they'll probably sign him after this season, unless Reinbacher and Hudson and Mayu hit, then maybe not. He's only signed for 1 year. So also not a lot of risk or term to have to worry about.
Yeah.
So if it doesn't
the
work
money's
out,
perfect. It's like $950K. I'm pretty sure that's league minimum or something like that, right?
Right. You haven't committed for 2-3 years for a guy that might not be here because of the other players that are coming up, right? But it does allow Reinbacher to go back to Switzerland for a year, continue his development there, which is probably the best thing. So this allows that. I don't expect Reinbacher will make the team out of camp unless he's absolutely crazy lights out, and I don't expect that. So it's a good move all around for that.
Plus, if they wanted to, right? Say he has a pretty decent year, and my prediction holds. Lane Hudson signs his ELC at the end of BU's year.
That's at the bottom.
They could if Lindstrom has a good year and he proves himself as like an NHL defenseman, they could flip him and get more assets at his age and that deal. If they don't think they're going to use him next year, they can flip him and get assets.
Yeah, for sure they can. Pete just texted me.
I just see it all in all. No matter which way it goes with him, it's a low risk, potentially good reward. But again, I think it's just really good business.
Hang on a second. I just want to text Pete the Fist.
Now, if Kent Hughes pulls off a trade and sends Joel Armia away without retaining salary and gets us like a 4th round
miracle,
pick, I'll fall off my chair and die.
I'm going to go find out where Kent Hughes is and fall down at his feet and just.
Because at that point, he's practicing witchcraft.
Yeah, something up with that. No, listen, they got to waive Armia.
It's have to.
And if they waive Armia, right? So he's making $3.4 million. You waive him, send him to Laval. You're getting $1.1 million in cap relief. So it's costing you $2.3 million to send him to Laval. But if you take anybody that's potentially going to be taking his spot in the lineup, right? The young guys, right? And there's the list of them. It's in my video. You add their salary and the $2.3 million, and you're still either the same as Armia or a little bit less. It doesn't hurt you to waive Armia and send him to Laval. The only way it hurts you is if you really think that Montreal can get Armia going this year so that he's palatable in a trade, either at the deadline or in the off season. I got some land in Florida that I can sell you, but I don't think that's going to happen. So burying him in the minors, so for 2 seasons, it's not the end of the world. The asset you might get for what do you think you would get if you could trade Armia? A 7th round pick, maybe?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If we find out tomorrow that we shipped him off to some random team and got a 4th round pick and didn't have to retain salary, I'll probably drop dead.
Yeah, I think I might faint. I seriously, because that would be then the end of the world is coming. That's the sign, because that can't happen. He's truly a magician if he does that, right? Truly.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, because that's crazy stuff. But it's been good. Like I don't know. I thought these would be problems. Well, let's say just Hoffman, right? That we'd have to put up another year and blah blah blah. And it's crazy.
Nope.
The change from that this horrible thought to look what happened. And it's so positive and just good stuff going forward, part of the rebuild, helping it out. It's crazy. It's crazy how quickly it's kind of turned around. When you think about it, since Kent Hughes has been here, a lot of the problems that he inherited are gone.
Oh yeah.
It's just Armia and Gallagher. Gallagher, I don't think they can do anything about. I really don't think they can do anything about. But it's like Armia's left. That's it.
Yeah. No, I mean,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
He's turned this club around in 2 years. Like he turned this
whole club and fan base on its ear in 2 years. Like just total just total somersault.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. He's going to be considered a great GM when he's done. That's what I believe. All right, let's see. There's more comments. Renegade Man says the Smith could be moved depending on Primo's status with the club and if Dobish is NHL ready. Dobish is not NHL ready. I mean, that would surprise me. Dobish is going to play in the AHL. Mm-hmm. Primo's status with the club is probably not as bad as people think, like how we see Primo. I don't think the club sees him that way. They still have plans for him and believe he can develop into a good NHL goalie. I don't think they see him as the starter anymore, a future starter necessarily, but I don't think they've given up on him. That's for sure. Should we get back to we're going to be talking about Lindstrom?
Well, I actually want to bring this up for a second. So I saw this comment when we were talking about kind of the problems that Kent Hughes inherited.
Right. Go ahead.
And Ryan just simply asked, well, Dvorak. Well, now, I don't know if I necessarily see Dvorak as a problem because I think Dvorak brings more than Armia, right? Like even though maybe Dvorak doesn't put up points, I still think he's very good in the dot.
What do you mean Dvorak doesn't put up points? He puts up a little more than half a point a game.
No, but that's what I'm saying though. He's obviously not. At the level
he's a third, but he's a good third line center, though. He's a good third. He's not hurting you if you play him in the right spot.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't see him as a problem with Armia. He's either very, very good, or he has no idea what the hell he's doing. No in between.
He's
either very, very good, or
I went over Armia's stats. It's one of the overlays I had for the thing. So in rehearsal, when I was rehearsing it, I read them out, and it's 436 games or something like that, 39 actually. 75 goals and 78 assists for 153 points. And then I said, yeah, all in 5 games. The 5 good games you get out of him, scores. Yeah, very frustrating. And I would, it's nothing personally to Armia, but man, he's so frustrating.
It is because when we see him play that well, it's like if you could just do this consistently.
Yeah, those nights.
Be consistent, my man.
Those 3 to 5 nights a season. But that's 3 to 5 nights a season. Yeah. What about the rest of the time? And something else interesting? His last 3 seasons here in Montreal, well, just his last 3 seasons, 14 points each season. And the number of games didn't matter because he had 2 seasons in the 40s and won 60 games and still 14 points. So what are you going to get from him this year if he played here? 14 points. Don't tell me calling up, name it, Sean Farrell, Joshua Watt. You're not getting 14 points or more from those guys. Come on. Right?
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. Those 14 points were probably 7 games a season where he had a goal and an assist. And that was it.
Right. Yeah, or he gets 2 or 3 points, whatever. It's 14 points in 3 games or 4 games.
Yeah,
and the rest, Nothing. And that's what's so frustrating. And you know what? He's so good defensively. Like, he's still good defensively and good on the
he
PK.
does work very hard too. But I have nothing against his work rate. It's just he can't put everything together like on a consistent basis. You know what I mean? Like, it's
exactly. Hey Pete. I was just talking to you on the texting. Pete thinks the trade was decent. Again, like, we're all a little underwhelmed, Pete. Same thing. But I don't know that we'll still be underwhelmed once the season starts and we see the kid and all that. So Pete also says Hughes is doing what he and Gordon said they were going to do. They said that they wanted to get rid of the dead weight, and they're doing it. Very pleased with what's going on. And that's very true, right? And we just said that.
They're getting assets.
Armia left.
Remember we said we'd probably have to give guys away? I mean, we really haven't had to give anybody away.
Nothing. We've given nothing away like that. Like, oh, take him, we'll give you this. We have not done. I've said it many times. He's going to do this. Nope. He's managed to make a deal where he hasn't had to do that.
And we got assets. It's like,
it's crazy.
I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it because it's working.
Yeah, he's a crazy good GM. Owen Beck will replace Dvorak when he's ready. I think Owen Beck could start the season because Dvorak's injured, right? So Dvorak is out, unknown exactly, but a couple of weeks probably to start the season. That would be great. I don't know how this works because Owen Beck can play in Montreal or in junior. I don't know if he breaks camp with Montreal. Does he have to stay up here a certain amount of time, or the whole, like, I don't know how that works.
And neither do I.
But I could see him. He almost earned the job last training camp. I can see him earning the job till Dvorak comes back, or they may move Dvorak. I mean, I don't know. So, but yeah, Owen Beck eventually, I think, or Riley Kidney. I mean, they got options.
Riley Kidney's damn good. Like I said, I mean, and I've been saying this a lot. To me, I think there's a good chance Josh Schwab probably breaks camp, especially now that we have spots for forwards.
Now that they're making these spots, 100% Josh Schwab.
I think Josh Schwab is wicked. I think he is not only is he going to put points up, I think his two-way game is something that's been so underrated by so many people.
Yeah.
That, we'll see him on like the penalty kill, or we'll see that in action and go, shit.
You know why, though, right? Most people underrate him because it was last season, because I saw this piece on him going into last season that he was concentrating on improving that two-way game.
Yeah.
And he did that, and he did it in one season, and I think a lot of people don't realize that he's better that way than
anybody who watched the World Junior. I mean, when we did the USA Canada live stream, we couldn't break the puck through the middle of the zone because he kept stealing it. I was like, holy crap, when is this kid making the Habs? He's going to be a penalty kill specialist.
He's going to be a good player. That's all I could say. Ryan says Armia equals Zubris. Dania Zubris 2.0. Yeah, Zubris was a frustrating. No, you know what? He's right. Zubris was very frustrating forward here in Montreal when he was here. He had all the tools. Like, he looked so good, and he just couldn't put up numbers. That's what I remember from him. Hey, Mr. Mike, how's it going there? Mr. Mike's new to the channel. We follow each other on Twitter. He's a poet, like I am. A better one than I am, but he's a poet. You should check him out, Mr. Mike Show. He's on YouTube, by the way. So if you guys like poetry and stuff like that, Mr. Mike, he's got a podcast. He's got a poetry channel. I don't know exactly what's on the channel, but he writes poetry. He's got a couple of books out, one and the second one coming out. So check him out. Go to his channel. I'd appreciate that. And if you'd subscribe to him, because he is building towards that first 1,000. So let's help get him there. When is his contract up? Who are we talking about? If it's the new kid,
Armia. I think he's talking about.
Armia's got two more seasons. That's why he's virtually untradeable right now. And I don't believe we play him here for a year. What's he going to do that's going to make him tradable at the deadline or in the offseason? I don't think anything. Personally, I don't think anything. So
yeah. So I'm actually gonna take back what I said about if we trade him and without retaining salary for a fourth or better. If we just get any asset for him and don't retain salary, I think I'll drop dead.
You know what? I'm gonna be happy if they can move him. If they have to retain salary or not, move him.
Well, no, me too. But I'm just saying, if Hughes works out a deal where we get like some sort of asset back and we don't have to retain salary, I'm gonna be fluid.
That would be great. But I can't offhand.
No, I
See that
can't see it either. I know, I agree.
Leon, hey Leon, I told the pods, Petry gone. I said, don't worry, Habs fans, told you so. Which pods you talking about? Pete says somebody out there is gonna want Armia for his playoff potential. This he does have. I mean, the last time we were in the playoffs, he played well, and I have him in my video today, and I do mention that. I think Montreal will send him down for some. I think they waive him and send him down. That's what I think. Where do you see Roy, that's Joshua Roy, fit in this lineup? I'd like to see him with Suzuki and Caulfield. His game complements both players. That's where I see him on that right wing. That's where I see him.
I agree. Like I said,
he's young though. I don't know if he can come in and do that right away, but
right.
You know.
But no, I could certainly see him there though. And like I said, I think that two-way part of his game is what could propel him there. And I think he'd see penalty kill time. Maybe not on the first PK unit, but I think
I don't know. I will have to see him in camp. I don't know where he'll end up, but I could see him, like you say, I could see him breaking camp with Montreal. Now that the spots are opening up, like, you know, so if they can, you know what, I still think, and something that if you watch Tony Marinaro's Sick podcast, was it 2 podcasts ago or something, he had Eric Engels on. Was when after the Petry trade. And Eric Engels said that Mike Hoffman was not going to be playing for Montreal, even if Montreal had to waive him. And that would mean like nobody picking it up and send him down. So I believe that now that Hoffman is gone, then why would they not be doing that with Armia if they can't move him? And he's going to try, but I doubt he's going to be able to move him. So I think Armia, at the end of training camp, if they can't move him, he's going to be waived and sent to Laval. I don't see how that doesn't happen. Mr. Mike, you're probably not still there, but hey, thanks for being here, buddy. I appreciate that. Pete says Armia may go down. Not totally sold on it yet. I think management will try and get him going. If he grows, they can maybe move him. But for what, though? Is it worth the spot to keep a kid back from development for a year to try to get Armia going, who even if he has a good week, it's not going to last. And what's the return going to be for Armia? With his salary, with the extra year, you're going to get, like I said, what, a 7th round pick? Is that worth it? That's not worth it, especially when you waive him, send him down, and the money that's left and the new kid you're going to call up, it equals less than him. So it's a win-win situation. And production from one of the kids coming up, Pete, got to be better than 14 points because that's all Armia's given for 3 years in a row. I don't know. 3 strikes, you're out. Ryan says Hughes will have to pull the same thing he did with Hoffman's contract with Armia. 3-team trade. Otherwise, it's a buyout or like contract ride out like Drouin. It's not going to be like Drouin, I don't believe, or buyout. Unless maybe next season, right, they bury him this year. Next season, buyout time happens and they buy him out. With 1 season left, not so bad. Not so bad that way, but buyout, I think 2 opportunities, or 1 has happened anyway. I think there might be another buyout period. The pods. Oh, I see. Yeah, Frenchie. I've never seen that guy. The Sick podcast. We don't have a podcast yet. We are working on that, but we don't have one yet. Okay, so let's go over some things that I guess I didn't get to. Oh, this is interesting. So I don't know if everybody knows who Mark Dumas is. Mark Dumas. He was doing videos for the Habs before last season started, and they fired him. I don't know why and everything. And he's with Montreal Hockey now, which is kind of clickbaity, and I don't know. I thought Mark Dumont would change that when he went there, but it didn't really happen. But he says that Lindstrom will more than likely play in Laval. And I don't know where he gets that from, but I don't see that being a more than likely thing. I think it's a possibility because of all the kids that are here and that need ice time and everything. I think it's a possibility. But I don't think it's more than likely as the way that's put. I think it's there's jobs open, and if he can win a job in training camp, he'll get that job. Other than Matheson and Savard, I don't think anybody else. You think anybody on our defense is guaranteed to stay on? Not have to. Oh, Gooley maybe, right?
Yeah, no, Gooley's definitely playing.
Yeah, no. So I'm saying those three guys. Other than that, there's 3 spots that can be won with good play in training camp. I think so.
Maybe 2. I don't know. It's tough, right? Because obviously, like Matheson, Gooley, I think Savard are probably locks.
They're locked. You got to think.
But I don't know how you don't play Arbor or Jordan Harris. You know what I mean?
Well, what if they have horrible camps? I mean, this is the.
I know, I get that, but
this is what I mean by the jobs are there to be won. Lindstrom might not win a job, but he might win a job. I don't know. So I guess the possibility of him playing Laval is there, but to say more than likely, I don't know if that's true. I mean, it's his opinion, and he's allowed his opinion, no doubt. I'm not saying his opinion is wrong or crazy, but I don't agree with it, is what I'm saying.
I mean,
I've had a couple of conversations with Mark Dumont on Twitter, and he's stopped when I made a good point on actually, I should say one good conversation, and he kind of just stopped, and I didn't hear from him again after I think I made a good point on something he said. I don't think he liked it. Anyway,
you could put him. You could run Matheson. You could do Gooley, Matheson, Savard, Harris, and then Jacky and Lindstrom, and have Kovacevic as a third guy, or that 6th defenseman.
Well, I think
Kovacevic. There's a lot of possibility with those bottom couple.
But I think Kovacevic though kind of gets not a lock, but he doesn't get sent down because he's got to be waived. I think you lose him if you waive him.
More than likely, yeah.
Right? More than likely you're going to lose him if you waive him. So other than that, I think you can. Whoever's playing best, the other guys are in Laval for whatever. You got a lot of options. They got waiver exemption, and they can move up and down. But I think 1 or 2 of the defensemen are going to start in Laval. I don't see how, especially now you added Lindstrom. You've got 9 guys here for defense. You got 6 spots and an extra. 2 guys are going to play in Laval. Let's see. What about Barron? I think Barron's one that's going to start in Laval. I really do. I don't know. I'm not saying Barron's less, not as good as the other guys, but I think it's Barron that's going to start in Laval. I don't know why.
No, I think so. And again, not to say that, again, I agree with you. I do think Barron could end up being a very good defenseman, but I think from what we've seen so far, to me, I'd rather have Harris and Jacky on the Habs right now. Let Barron develop a little more, because I just think, well, for starters, obviously you need Jacky for the toughness, but I think Jordan Harris is a bit more intelligent of a defender, and I think he's a better defender. And we've seen more of Jordan Harris than Barron. So
no, I like Harris
with Jordan Harris.
I like Harris over Barron too. I like Harris over Barron staying to start the season too. I agree with you there. Yeah, but listen, now there's decisions to make in training camp. Not a bad thing, right? Having guys have to compete for jobs is the best thing you want in camp. So this is all good, and I believe Lindstrom is waiver exempt. He's still on his ELC, I believe.
Lindstrom is not waiver exempt.
He's not waiver exempt.
He's not. Harris, Barron, and Jacky are all waiver exempt. So
there you go. Although, in the end, if it turns out, but you got to figure he'd get picked up if he was waived. But even if that happened, you got rid of Hoffman. And we got our assets back too. No, I'm not saying they should do that. Listen, it complicates things, but that's for them to work out when camp hits. I'm not worried about that.
What about they're going to have to waive Chris Weidman too?
I believe no, they're going to trade Weidman or waive him and send him down. But I think they're going to try to trade Weidman. You're not going to get much for him, but you're going to move him to another team. You know why? Another reason, considering how they treated Petry and all that, Weidman was a good soldier for them as far as he did what they told him. He played when they told him. He didn't complain about it, and so just based on that, and he really
good guy too. From all accounts, really good guy.
He wore the logo on his chest. I mean, they're going to do well by him.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to trade him. Makes sense to me. Like I said, though, don't expect much in return. If he does get something, wow,
If he trades Chris Weidman and Yoel Armia, doesn't retain salary and gets like a 5th round pick back, my socks are gonna go flying.
Pete says, I can see Barron in a package deal with Armia. Anything is possible. This is something that actually I'm just remembering now because I just watched the press conference just before coming on here. He did say that, Hughes, that, down the road in the next 3-4 years, some of these guys that are here now won't be here. This is a business and guys will have to be moved one way or the other. So you could be right. I mean, Pete, right? It's going to happen. They're going to have to move. They might have to do that to get rid of, maybe they get a good offer. Team will take Armia. They want this. And there's something, some draft pick, good one coming back, not a prospect, but a pick. You might pay them to do that, So we'll see. I mean, all I know is I've got confidence in the GM that he's not going to make a deal for the sake of a deal or jump the gun on something or make a bad read of a play. I haven't seen evidence of that, and I don't think that's going to happen in the near future. So I'm going to have confidence in them. That they know what they're doing. They've turned this team around quite a bit. To have such competition at so many spots of quality players.
Real quality too, right? I mean, even again, just picking on defense. I'm looking on. I'm on Cap Friendly. I'm looking just on the active roster alone, right? I mean, just remove Matheson, Savard, and Gooley, but I mean, guys like Kovacevic, Barron, Harris, Lindstrom. I mean, Jacky, these are decent defense. You know what I mean?
What's waiting in
good defensemen?
And what's waiting in the freaking wings? Lane Hudson, David Reinbacher, Logan Mailloux, and I give an outside chance to Engstrom. I don't know a ton about him, but
Engstrom. I mean, even if they want a stay-at-home brick shit house to get through defensemen, I mean, from what I heard in that little rookie scrimmage, that was Jaden Struble. He was essentially a brick wall to anyone trying to.
No, I get it, but in the grand scheme of things, he's a throwaway now. I don't mean to. That's kind of cruel, but I mean, that's true.
But in terms of numbers, yeah. But again, it's
the quality that's here is crazy.
He's another defenseman where, if a team wants a stay-at-home friggin' brick wall that's just gonna mash everything. Way.
Struble would be a good trading piece, 100%. But I'm just saying here. And for Montreal, there's too many guys, I think, ahead of him in the depth.
No. I mean, I know, I agree too. But again, I mean, it's a good problem to have.
It is. It's a good problem to have. I remember how many years over the last 30, say, right, where we haven't won a cup. How many years going into camp, you hear the names, and it's dog food. It's just dog food that we've got, in prospects. And now it's quality. It's just a really nice place to be. It's been so long. That's all I could say on that. I could say a lot more. I don't know what I'm talking about at this point. I'm tired. Yeah, it's been a long day. Let's get to you guys again. Hughes has a love affair with right-hand defenseman. No, we were short on right-hand defenseman.
Oh, yeah.
We traded Lehkonen for Barron. I don't see him giving up so easy. Harris, to me, seems like the odd guy out for some reason. I don't think Harris is the odd guy out.
Yeah, I don't think
Harris is a really intelligent kid, and a smart player on the ice. I like the way he knows when to pinch in. He's not afraid to play in the offensive zone. No, I think Harris is a little, like Matt said, I think Harris is a little ahead of Barron, which is why I think Barron starts in Laval this season. I'm not saying Barron stays there
too, just the way he reads the way the play is going.
Yeah,
like I always see him like a step or two ahead of the offense. You know what I mean? Like I'll see a pass going somewhere, and he's boom right there, ready to pick it.
He's a very intelligent kid, and he plays hockey intelligently and anticipates well. And you're seeing a lot of these Habs players. I don't know if you've noticed this. That's something you can say about a lot of them. Great vision and anticipate the play well, and so they seem like they're a step ahead.
Even Cole Caulfield's goal against Vegas in the playoffs, when he saw the defender pinching in, he just flopped it over the stick and off to the races. I mean,
yep.
Like you can't. It's stuff like that too that you really can't coach. That's stuff that you.
That's vision, and you're right. You can't really. I don't think you can coach vision. I mean, you can't coach how a player sees the ice, how well they see the ice. Right? You might improve it a little bit, but when a guy's got great vision at that age, you can't coach that.
No.
Or they've already coached it into him, and he's whatever. But I don't. I think that's one of those natural talents you can't teach.
Yeah, I mean Suzuki too. Just very, very intelligent hockey players.
It seems like a trait now for the Habs player, right? He's intelligent, sees the ice well, anticipates well, skates well, fast, good hands. I mean, this seems like the prototypical Habs forward now.
Yeah,
which is not a bad thing. Ryan says he'd rather buy out Armia and keep Barron. I don't think Armia being bought out or sent down affects Barron necessarily at all. Right? If Armia, that's the forward. You're talking about a kid. They want to develop the forwards this year. Like last year was defense. This year they want the forwards. They want to bring in kids. They're making spots for them. And I don't think Armia has anything to do with Barron. Oh, he corrects it. I should have read a little bit more. He meant for a trading piece. Yeah, no, 100%. I'm not saying to trade Barron, but listen, in the long run, a couple of these kids, at least because we were already wondering how we're going to fill out that defense, we got Hudson, Reinbacher, and Mailloux coming up in the next year and a half for all three of those guys. So,
and they're going to play in the NHL.
All three of those guys are going to play in the NHL. That you're looking at probably the three of the big four because you got to add Gouli into that, right? Mm-hmm. So you're looking at there's going to be change on defense over the next few years, and guys are going to have to be moved and not just sent to Laval. So it's going to happen. But that's part of, you know what? If you want to be a championship team and a contender and all that, that's part of the game. And the thing is that your GM has to have the balls to move guys like that when they need to be moved. And that's, I think we got the right guy in Kent Hughes. He's got the balls to make the moves that need to be done. Mm-hmm. And he's kind of firing on all cylinders right now.
For sure. And the other thing too is once Savard's contract runs out, and Savard I think has a year left.
One more. This season is Savard's final season.
So that runs out. So that's going to free up, that frees up a spot.
He's being moved at the deadline probably.
Yeah.
To free up space, right?
Lindstrom's contract runs out. So there's two spots. I mean, we'll have spots too. And I think we're going to have $15 million in cap at the end of the year without Price.
Yes.
If you don't factor in his contract.
15.2, I think, in free uncommitted money. It doesn't mean they're going to have players to sign with that, but they're going to have plenty of money. And like Hughes just said, they're not afraid next off season to go over the cap to the point where they've got to use Price's money in the off season. They're not afraid to do that. And it's not a problem for them, right? If they go 10 million over the cap, they use Price. Well, they'll still be able to get that up to 10 million if a player gets hurt. And that's the whole point of it, right? In the off season, if players get hurt during the season, you want to get their full cap hit in relief. And if you're $2 million over the cap when the season starts, right? and you've used LTIR money to come back down, the most you can get from a player that gets injured and goes on LTIR will be $2 million for that season. So that really screws you up in trying to manage the cap during the season and all that. So that's why we talked about that.
Well, I mean, here's kind of the other, I guess, good news too.
What's that?
There's really not. I mean, offensively, there's no one we're going to have to worry about for at least 3 years, 2-3 years to have to
worry about how,
like in terms of like having to pay them again, like the like who is it?
Yeah, well, but and he said something about this down the road. They may have to spend money where they don't really want to have to do that, but they're in no choice because of what you're talking about. I think, right at some point, it's a logjam of contracts that have to be re-signed. So money goes up and stuff like that. But hopefully the cap will go up a good bit.
The way if Ken Hughes does business the right way.
Well, he kind of admitted it today in his press conference that he can do the best he can, but at some point it becomes a problem.
But
I mean,
we're looking.
They're talking about being a contender and in that level for a long time. To do that, you got to manage that cap well.
Well, no, but listen, the cap's going up, and like I said,
still got to manage it well.
No, you do, but look, I'm looking at forwards right now on Cap Friendly. In terms, I guess we'll call it the core four or the core players, I guess, on offense. Kirby Dach's the only guy really we have to worry about re-signing, but that's 3 years away.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. That's 3 years of at least 2 of the cap going up well.
Yeah.
So there'll be money there.
They can re-sign him. A year after that, it's Newhook. We got 8 years for Caulfield and Suzuki.
Plus, there'll be changes. It's not like the lineup's going to remain the same for 8 years, right? There's going to be guys in and out, So, and there'll be room to make the deals.
I mean, defensively, I mean, next year's Arbor, but that's it. That's it. Gooley's got this year, next year on his ELC. But again, even next year with Arbor, like I don't see Arbor really getting like
No, Arbor won't make tons
anything crazy. And then
he'll be decent. Always.
We're gonna have 3 years of Lane Hudson on an ELC, Logan Mailloux on an ELC, and David Reinbacher on an ELC.
Which is
he's gonna have time to make some moves to make cap. You know what I mean? Like he's in a good position where he's given himself time.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Moves. No, he's a good. Listen, they've got top people in all of those departments to make sure that is the case. So, it's right now it's a very well-run organization, in my opinion. Ryan, I'm not sure what you mean by Doc is an RFA. He's not an RFA. Doc just signed a 4-year deal last year. So he's got 3 years left. So, and when he's done, maybe we mean when he's done. I think when he's done, he'll have 1 year of RFA.
Yeah, he's going to have 1 more year of RFA status.
They knew what they're doing. Same thing with Newhook. When he's done, he'll have 1 year of RFA. Yep. So there's control there for them,
Again, good business move.
Yeah, it's very smart. Brad says, I smell an upcoming deal for a goal scorer. We have too many top-notch young defensemen.
Well,
Someone has got to go, and it's going to be a sweet deal for us in Hughes we trust. I don't agree with him there. No, you were first. Go ahead.
So I was looking at our cap hit, the cap for next year, right? It would be somewhere around $15 million. With Hughes saying, maybe they have to overpay. And I looked at who was going to be a free agent next year to see. And I looked at a couple
better list next year.
One, I looked at, all right, who's going to be around that 24, 20, 22 to 25, 26, right in that age group.
Yeah.
And who is on a team that he probably doesn't want to stay on because they're probably going to be crappy. And who puts points up and who could realistically really work well in our top 6. And there's one guy. And it'll make Jeff very, very happy who that one guy is. And it's Elias Pettersson. He's a UFA at the end of this year. And he's probably going to want out of I doubt he's going to want to resign in Vancouver.
Well, I know they're negotiating. They're negotiating, though. I've seen some pictures on Twitter of them in, I guess, Sweden. They went there. So you might be right. I mean, if a guy's going there, they're negotiating in a cafeteria. That's where the picture came from. It might be a little bit of desperation on Vancouver's part, right, to get him signed. You might be right with
Because he's
Pettersson,
going to
but
be
he's going to
25,
cost.
and I'm like,
But he's going to
he's
cost
got the
big
points.
money.
I think Vancouver's going to downward trajectory.
But he's going to cost big money.
But it's
gonna
Elias
cost big
Pettersson.
money.
But again, so we might have to overpay a little bit. It's Elias Pettersson.
Yeah, I get it, but I don't know. A little bit.
That's just the one name that stuck out to me.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're wrong or whatever, but I how could Vancouver not get him signed? I mean, right? Got to throw money at him.
Vancouver's got a lot of problems right now.
No, this is true. I could see him not wanting to be there, without a doubt. But
Anyway. I think Vancouver's going to trend down. Vancouver also doesn't have any cap space.
Okay, I want to answer Brad's question or his comment. So Brad wants he thinks there's a deal coming up for a goal scorer. I say we've got the goal scorers here. We just need to unleash them. This is part of what they're doing to build that defense, is to have a defense that's going to unleash these guys. We've got plenty of goal scoring talent here in the young guys, and they have to grow into it. I think they will. I think we'll see an improvement over the next year, 2 years, 3 years, and just keep, but I think the goal scoring is here already, and they don't really have to reach out and sign an expensive free agent for that. At least not yet. There's time to establish those guys and see what you've got before you do that. So I don't see that happening. So there you go. There's my thoughts on that. I'm going to see if I got anything here to add. In the meantime, if you guys got any questions, ask. Here's some news about Paul Byron. Paul Byron will retire. This is he's not officially retired, but this is from Kent Hughes. He's retiring. And he'll probably take a position with the team, but that won't happen probably till September. It was in French, that part, and I'm pretty sure that's what he said. But yeah, Paul Byron will be announcing a retirement and will be probably staying with the team in some capacity, which is what he wanted. I know that he wanted to be in player development, and that's probably what will happen. And it'll be a good thing. It'll be a really good thing. So that's kind of official, almost. Now, we get this question a lot: has Logan Mailloux been cleared yet to play in the NHL by Gary Bettman? He was also asked about that again in French. So this is my understanding of it: is that they're still waiting on official word. There's no official word on what's going to on Mailloux being allowed to play in the NHL this year. So they're still waiting on it. So at least we know now that it has not. Either the interview hasn't happened yet, or it has happened and the ruling hasn't come down. So that's something. And
well, he's listed as being in the minors on cap friendly. He's not listed in junior anymore.
No, because he's not going back to junior. AHL, it seems like that's been cleared, and Mailloux will play in the AHL with the Rocket this year. Matter of fact,
I feel like he'd have to be cleared for the NHL, because what if they have to call him up on an emergency basis or something?
No, I think this is what I think the misunderstanding is, because I was under the same impression as you.
I'm just curious.
I think what it is Gary Bettman actually decides for the AHL and the NHL, and he's already made that decision for Mailloux with the AHL. So people are saying that that Bettman, if he decides, that it's Bettman that has to just, I think now I don't know what I'm saying. He's cleared to join the AHL. The thing is that I heard it was Bettman that makes the decision on both. I don't know. So maybe it's not that Bettman doesn't make the decision in the AHL. And listen, if the AHL cleared him,
yeah, then you got to think the NHL is going to clear, right? I mean, NHL. Otherwise that'd be the biggest crock of bullshit I've ever heard.
Yeah,
if the NHL doesn't clear him.
So, I'm not sure, but all I know is the Habs are still waiting on word for that. I should have cleared that part up. I get it, but anyways, I'm not a professional. What can I say? On the conditional 4th round pick that Montreal picked up just now today in the Petry deal, it is going to be the later of either Detroit's own 4th round pick in 2025, but they also hold Boston's. So depending on how it goes, it'll be one of those two, but it'll be the later of the two. That's the condition. What
it's
else
probably
did
going
I
to
miss?
be Detroit's.
What's that?
I said it's probably going to be Detroit's by that time. I think Boston's going to go like this.
Probably, yeah. No, I think so. It's possible that way too.
Like I think Boston's first couple weeks are going to kind of tell us the trajectory of the team for the foreseeable future. I
Boston,
do.
yeah, and I hope the trajectory is down, but that's because I'm not a Boston fan. The one thing I forgot to mention that Hughes did say, and this is about Petry. From what I took from his press conference, Jeff Petry was never intended to play in Montreal in this trade. When they traded for him, it was never their intention to have him play for Montreal next season. No matter what you heard, it was never their intention. The only way is if they wouldn't have been able to make a deal, but they were confident they would be able to do that. And the reason it took so long was because of how quick it happened, the way it happened. They didn't have any time to prepare to already find the other deal. And he said, that's what took so long. That's the only thing. Mm-hmm. So, but their intention was never to have Jeff Petry play here again. It wasn't what I read. Oh, what was it I read? It was supposed to be a quote that one of the reasons was, well, he did ask for a trade out of Montreal. So they weren't planning to have him come back. And that's interesting because we talked how many people talked about that, right?
Well, yeah, you know? But like I said, and I think I spoke about it when we did our live stream and that trade broke. Like that trade request had nothing to do with the organization at all. Absolutely nothing. It was really just about he didn't want to be in Canada.
You know what I think the fans' point of contention with all that was? When Petry got to Pittsburgh, I guess it was at practice or whatever. He's in the dressing room. And there was a question asked. The thing is, the question didn't really get put into the video the response that came out, right? You didn't really hear the question. And he kind of said, it's so nice to be there where hockey means so much and all that. Now, the question did ask him about Montreal and if this, but I mean, the context of it wasn't exactly how the response kind of sounded without hearing the full question. I think a lot of people got mad at Jeff Petry over that. So I think, I don't know why I even mentioned it, but I can't remember. I lost my train of thought. That's what happens. So he wasn't intended to play here, no matter what we thought. Asia's land. Ken says, okay, I'm going to do that again. Ken says, I don't want to speak for Paul, but it's over for us as a player. Oh, is that what he said? Well, from everything I've heard about from Byron's end of it as well, it's over for him as a player. It's just not an official announcement. Mm-hmm. But their intention was, I guess, that if he does retire, it wouldn't be till September till they announce anything about him joining the club in any capacity. Because I know that was part of the question that was asked. Thanks, though, Gislain, for clearing that up. I appreciate that. My French sometimes is not what it should be. Mm-hmm. So. And these press conferences often have, like 70% of the questions asked in French. Although this one wasn't the case. It was about 50-50, so it wasn't bad. All right, as we near the last of the questions, actually we're at the bottom. If there's anything, I've got nothing else to add here. You got anything that you want to add?
Yeah. Not really. No.
Are you guys out there? Do you got anything? Oh, I do want to. This is one thing I want to do. So I put out a video today. I'm not going to play the video for you, but I will play you the intro because I'm actually pretty proud of it. I think it's a pretty cool video.
It was pretty cool.
So I'm going to play that, just the intro to the video, and I hope you guys will all go out and watch the video, and here's the intro. It's time to play Canada's favorite new game show, Wave, Trade, or Keep, where today's contestant Talking Habs must decide whether to wave the player, trade the player, or keep the player, and give his reasons why. Today's players are goalie Sam Montembeault, winger Yoel Armia, defenseman Chris Weidman, Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's play Wave, Trade, or Keep. Yeah, I like that intro. Anyways, if you would like to see my thoughts on those three players, and now listen, the reason that you probably saw that and go Montembeault. Okay, so I mentioned Marc Dumas from Montreal Hockey. Now I said they're a bit clickbaity. Anyways, he put out an article where he claims that Sam Montembeault, while not necessarily on the block, is available for the right price. I said, don't believe that for a second.
No, there's no way.
So that's why, if you're wondering why Montembeault's in that video. Now, it's, easy probably to figure out Wave, Trade, Keep, who I said that for. But I go over a little bit of each player. Maybe there's something in there that, you haven't heard before. So please check that out and let me know what you think. Always leave a comment in the video and let me know what you guys think. So there's that. All right, let's get back to the questions, and if there are any, and then we're going to take off. Which goalie starts game one? The backup. Why the backup? They're on the road for game one. The next game's here in Montreal. So Monty, if he's going to be the starter, probably gets that start 2 days later, 2 days after the opening night. Start in Montreal. He's the starter this year. It makes sense. So it's either going to be Allen or DeSmith, depending on what they do with those guys, or Primo. But that's what I say. Now they're opening in Toronto, so I kind of think if Primo's the backup.
Why is it always in Toronto, by the way? Why can't they open up at the Bell Center?
They seem to pretty much all, because Toronto is Canada's team. Didn't you know that? Canada's badly managed team. So that's what I think. So game one at home, Monty. Game one on the road, Allen for now. Daniel asks, Celebrini to Montreal. I don't see how Montreal necessarily gets that high up in the draft next year. I personally don't expect Montreal to be in the bottom 10. So I don't see how, unless they're able to trade up or some miracle with a pick that they have. I think any first round picks they have are either their own or they're top 10 protected. So I don't see how it happens. Calgary's first, isn't that protected? It is protected.
First overall protected.
It's first overall protected, so it won't help because Celebrini's expected to be the first overall pick. It's early, and he's the early front runner, I guess, and it probably could change, but that's what my understanding is of Celebrini.
Oh, I can't wait to watch him at BU. It's going to be a fun season.
Leon says Toronto thinks their poop don't stink, and that's why. No, it's more likely why is that it's Rogers. Rogers owns the team. They own the networks. They want their team out there more as much as possible, and that's probably why that they're opening up in Toronto and not Montreal. All right. On that note, at this time, we're going to take off. I want to thank everybody for being here. It is well appreciated. I would have liked to have done a video during the day, make it a little easier, but since I wasn't able to, come out with a video in time, I thought this was good because the last time it was a really good video. So I had a lot of fun tonight. We weren't able to have the full panel out, but I had fun. I hope you guys did too.
Enjoyed it.
So I'll be back we'll be back tomorrow. I don't know, Matt, you gonna be here tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be here.
All right, so we're back tomorrow. Wednesday night show is still on. So we'll be back for that. Hopefully there'll be some more news on whatever to talk about. So hopefully you guys will be here for that. Please check out my video, Wave, Trade, or Keep. It is out there. And I hope you guys like that. Let me know what you think about that. And I'm working on Habs current and future core 4. That's going to be my next, predicting the current core 4. And or giving you my version of the current core 4, who I think they are, and then trying to predict in the next 2-3 years who the actual core 4 will be then. And hopefully you guys will check that out when it comes out. Till next time, please stay safe out there. Peace out, y'all. And Pete, I was going to contact you, but I didn't know, so I didn't. I really apologize. I'll make sure next time that I do that, no matter what day of the week it is. And that's it. Till next time, I did all that. Ciao, everybody. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate that.
Have a good night, guys.